The president of a rail company involved in a fiery derailment and toxic chemical leaks in Ohio 2 weeks ago has now visited the community. Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw says he wanted to show his support for residents of East Palestine affected by the environmental fallout. Both the company and Biden administration have faced backlash over the response to the crash. Some locals report a range of health problems, and many are refusing to drink the local tap water, despite officials declaring the source to be safe. Federal officials plan to set up a clinic this week to better monitor the impacts on people's health and the environment. Earlier, we spoke to a young family forced from their home by the toxic leak. Kasie and Nathaniel Locke began our conversation by describing the disruption they've endured.
Honestly, there's no real words to describe exactly how we're feeling. Our lives have been completely turned upside down. So, we're pretty upset. Deeply upset.
And where are you staying now? Just so we sort of have an idea here of the fact that you were out, how far away you are from East Palestine right now.
So we're staying at my mom's in North Lima. It's about, I would say, about 16 minutes. Mileage, I'm not entirely sure, but I want to say maybe around like 14, 15 miles, maybe.
Okay, from the site. And take us back to the day that this happened, where you were, what you saw, what you smelt as well.
So I was actually laying in bed. My husband as well, he had just came home from work. My coworker texted me and she had asked if we were okay. And at that point, I had no idea what was going on. So I had said, we're fine, but is there a reason you're asking? And she said, okay, well, there's a train that derailed and it's on fire. So at that point, we didn't know about the chemicals or anything like that. My husband was driving home from work before he got home, and he saw this large orange cloud, as he described it, and he said, oh, something's on fire. So that's how we found out about it. And at that moment, we didn't know how bad it was going to get.
What did it smell like? Like, what was it like to be in that town, to be in that community in sort of the hours after that first happened?
So the first day, do you remember exactly what it's?
So the first night before we left, we didn't leave until around 2 o'clock in the morning Saturday. It smelled like burning rubber, maybe oil, just really intense. We actually both had to wrap our faces in like receiving blankets from Lucas because we couldn't breathe. And that was just getting him into the car and getting out of town as fast as possible. And that was within the first night. Now, after that, returning home after the controlled release, it smelled like burnt almonds or vanilla.
Almost like a sweet smell.
A sweet smell. And then after a while, my head would start to hurt, or our nose would run and throats would burn. And then we knew that it was time to get out of town as fast as possible if we went back.
Okay, so you left, but then you went back and then you left again. Is that correct? Just so I know I'm sort of following this here.
Yes, we had to go back to get his truck. We left his truck there and he had to have transportation for work.
Okay. Little baby Luke, who is 2 months old, who is very, very adorable there. What has this been like as new parents? The stress and the anxiety of being new parents with a little baby at the same time that all of this is happening.
It's very scary. We don't feel safe going back. We had full plans on growing up in this town with him and living there possibly forever. And I don't feel safe going back, not with a 2-month-old. It's consciously, I can't do it. I don't know what effects it will have on his health. It's definitely stressful, definitely anxiety inducing. Just not what we thought our lives would be at this point.
Nate was describing there some of what he's been experiencing. Kasie, have you had any strange symptoms? Have you noticed anything in baby Luke?
We actually did take him to get seen by the pediatrician. He has been congested. He's so young, he can't tell us, what he's feeling, but that's what we've noticed. We've had to use saline and a Frida nose aspirator and stuff like that. He seems to be getting a little better, and we were able to manage his symptoms, but we did have to take him actually to Akron Children's to get suctioned out. I'm not sure if he is sick or if it's related to the derailment, but either way, I mean, he is showing symptoms, and it was weird. He was saying his throat was burning, mine as well, and it almost was like a numb sensation. Same thing with the eyes. Our eyes were kind of burning and numb as well.
We've been hearing from officials who say that it's safe to return, but you're saying you don't feel safe returning. What do you think the future holds for you then? Where do you think you'll be staying if you don't feel safe to go home?
You know what? Right now, it's scary. There's a lot of unknown. I keep saying we're like stuck in limbo. We have no idea what the future holds at this point. Thankfully, we're able to stay with family. There's a lot of individuals that are not and had to go back. We are in the same situation as a lot of other families that we just don't know right now.
What would you like to hear from officials? We've heard from the governor of Ohio, who's claiming that it's safe to go back. What would you like to be hearing from your local officials right now?
I would like to know this is what I would like them to do. I would like them to come stay in East Palestine and drink the water, shower with the water. I'd like to hear them tell us, would they come back and live here? Would they bring their children here? Would they bring their family back? Because it would be hard for me to believe that they would say yes.
That was Kasie and Nathaniel Locke and their baby Luke joining us earlier.